Some people grow up carrying pain that no one ever sees, not because it was invisible, but because they learned very early how to hide it. If your childhood forced you to grow up too fast, to stay alert, to read the room before speaking, this isn't a coincidence. Psychology shows that enduring intense emotional stress early in life doesn't just shape who you are. It rewires how you think, feel, and relate to the world. And while that pain leaves scars, it can also create rare psychological traits most people never develop. Traits that influence your relationships, your resilience, and even your sense of identity. If you've ever felt different without knowing why, this may finally explain it. Psychologists have long studied how early life adversity shapes the developing brain and nervous system. When a child grows up in an environment marked by emotional instability, neglect, or constant stress, the mind adapts in order to survive. These adaptations aren't conscious choices. They're automatic responses designed to keep the child safe. Over time, those survival patterns become part of the person's personality, emotional regulation, and worldview. Research in developmental and trauma psychology shows that these early experiences don't simply disappear with age. Instead, they quietly influence how someone trusts others, handles pressure, and interprets the world around them well into adulthood. What's most surprising is that these experiences don't shape everyone in the same way. Some patterns are subtle, others deeply ingrained. But when you look closely, certain rare traits appear again and again in those who endured a lot early in life. Trait number 1. Emotional hyperperception. One of the most common traits is an unusually high level of emotional perception. People who endured significant stress in childhood often learn to read emotional cues with remarkable accuracy. As children, this skill wasn't a talent. It was a survival mechanism. They had to sense changes in tone, body language, or mood in order to avoid conflict or emotional harm. Over time, the brain became finely tuned to the emotional states of others. In adulthood, this can look like strong intuition, deep empathy, or the ability to feel the room instantly. You may notice tension before anyone speaks, or sense when something is wrong, even without clear evidence. While this awareness can make you compassionate and socially intelligent, it can also be exhausting. Being constantly alert to others' emotions often means your own needs are placed second, a habit formed long before you had a choice. Trait number 2, extreme self-sufficiency. Another rare trait is extreme self-sufficiency. When support was inconsistent or unreliable in childhood, many people learned that depending on others felt unsafe. Asking for help didn't lead to comfort. It led to disappointment, rejection, or silence. So the mind adapted by turning inward. Independence became protection. As adults, this often appears as strength. You handle problems alone, rarely ask for support, and take pride in being capable under pressure. But beneath that competence is a deeply ingrained belief: if I don't do it myself, it won't get done. Relationships can feel complicated because vulnerability feels risky, even when trust is deserved. Psychology explains that this isn't stubbornness or emotional distance. It's a learned survival strategy. You didn't choose self-sufficiency because it felt empowering. You chose it because, at one point, it was the only way to feel safe. Trait number 3, intense emotional control. A third trait is intense emotional control. For many who endured hardship early in life, expressing emotions openly was not safe. Strong feelings may have been ignored, punished, or used against them. As a result, the mind learned to suppress emotional reactions in order to maintain stability. Staying calm became a form of self-protection. In adulthood, this can look like remarkable composure under stress. You rarely panic, you think clearly in crises, and others may describe you as emotionally strong or unshakable. But this control often comes at a cost. Emotions aren't processed, they're contained. Over time, Unexpressed feelings can create inner tension, emotional numbness, or sudden emotional exhaustion. Psychology shows that this pattern isn't a lack of emotion, but an overdeveloped ability to restrain it. You learn to master your feelings because, at one point, feeling too much felt dangerous. Trait number 4, hyperresponsibility. Another defining trait is hyperresponsibility. Many people who endured a difficult childhood were forced into roles they were never meant to carry. They became emotionally mature too early, learned to manage situations beyond their age, or felt responsible for keeping peace in unstable environments. Psychology refers to this as an adaptation where the child steps into adult-like awareness long before they should. As adults, this often shows up as an overwhelming sense of duty. You feel responsible for others' emotions, outcomes, and well-being. Letting go feels uncomfortable, even when something isn't truly your burden to carry. You may be described as reliable, grounded, or the strong one. Yet internally, you struggle with guilt when you rest or prioritize yourself. This trait isn't about control. It's about survival. You learned early that if you didn't take responsibility, things might fall apart. Trait number 5, silent strength plus purpose. The final trait is a quiet, deeply rooted strength paired with a strong sense of purpose. Psychology calls this post-traumatic growth, the ability to transform prolonged hardship into inner depth and meaning. People who endured a lot in childhood often develop a resilience that doesn't seek attention. It's not loud or performative. It's steady. You've faced emotional weight early in life, which gives you a rare tolerance for discomfort and uncertainty. Small setbacks don't shake you the way they shake others, because you've already survived far worse. At the same time, this experience often creates a deep sensitivity to suffering, not just your own, but in others. Many people with this trait feel drawn to meaningful work, helping roles, or creative expression. The pain didn't disappear, but it became something else. It shaped a quiet strength that moves with intention, not fear. These traits are not flaws, and they are not random. They are intelligent adaptations formed in response to experiences that demanded more than a child should ever have to give. Understanding them isn't about labeling yourself or reliving the past. It's about awareness. When you recognize these patterns, you gain the ability to work with them rather than be controlled by them. Your past shaped you, but it does not define your limits. With understanding comes choice, and with choice comes the possibility of growth, balance, and self-compassion. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to acknowledge that strength. You're not alone in this experience. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if this content spoke to you, consider subscribing for more psychology-based insights like this.